Amy, it's thrilling to speak to you now. One of the questions that I know people are dying to find out is, given how much you've already achieved and the impact you've already had, what keeps you going? What drives you?
Yeah, wow. Well, I have to challenge the premise, right? It's hard for me to believe that I've really already had enough of an impact to stop or to even begin to stop. So, but what keeps me going and what pushes me forward is I really do think these ideas and the data I've collected over the years can make a difference. They can make a difference, especially to making work better.
Hmm.
And it's very exciting.
Do you think you'll ever get to a stage where you'll think you've done enough? Or is this a journey that will carry on forever as long as you're mentally and physically able to do so?
I think the answer is no. I will never get to a stage where I feel I've done enough. But maybe that's not, I hope that's not in a kind of false modesty sense, but in the sense that there is so much to do. This is a never-ending boulder that needs to be pushed up the hill of making work great, of making work environments exciting and freeing and inspiring.
And I'd love to ask you, what do you think are the most exciting things about the world of work that fascinate you at the moment?
The most exciting thing to me is that working together, people can do extraordinary things they could never do alone. I'm always, sort of truthfully a little disappointed when a student wants to go start up something on their own, de novo. I mean, I think that's great, and thank goodness many people do that. But there is such a limit to what you can do in a garage, with one other person or 5 other people, compared to what you can do in a well-run organization with the capacity to solve, truly big problems and deliver them at scale. So I get really excited about trying to make organizations that do big things more able to do so.
Would it be fair to say the more complex and the larger the organizations, almost the more exciting the challenge?
Yes, the challenge is more exciting, and the opportunity is greater, and that matters.
Do you think today's leaders are better than yesterday's? And do tomorrow's need to be better than today's?
That reminds me of something my 2-year-old son said 20 years ago. He suddenly said one day, "Is today the tomorrow we talked about yesterday?" And I had to stop and think. And I realized, oh yeah, you got that right. But so yes, probably on all 3 questions. So yes, I think by and large we have better leaders today than in the past. Not uniformly, but by and large there's more material, more leadership development work, more books, more opportunities for people to gain some of the insights and skills they need to be good leaders than there was historically. And the challenges are greater also. We operate in a volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous world. So you need to be a better leader than you needed to be when you had a clear formula for success and your primary job was to make sure people executed to that formula. And it stayed stable for a good long time. That's just not the world we live in. So yes, we have a lot of good leadership content and a lot of great leaders, and the need is still enormous.
If you're to project forward as to what do you think those new leadership skills or capabilities that tomorrow's leaders will need that today's perhaps lack, what do you think those might be?
Look, I think they're the skills that we can borrow and import from science. It's like today's leaders and tomorrow's leaders need to think like scientists, not like industrialists. That they need to not believe they're supposed to have the answers or all the answers, but they're supposed to have the questions. They're supposed to be able to articulate an inspiring and worthy direction. They're supposed to help people, it's a team sport, make sense of ambiguous data, right? They're supposed to welcome bad news and good, celebrate smart failures going forward in new territory. But all of the things that scientists have always done, but that business managers and leaders didn't really do so much. And they didn't have the mindset of it. They had the mindset of right answers beautifully executed. And today they need to develop the mindset of great questions, ambitious goals, can't do it alone, need to inspire and engage teams throughout the organization.
That's a rich and delicious answer. I'm going to carry on also about some of the tools to help leaders become better leaders. Where do you see coaching playing a role?
Oh, I think coaching plays an enormous role because people like me, I teach in a classroom and then I write books and articles, and I think they have some useful ideas. But the journey between reading a useful idea and putting it into action as a leader is a long one that's full of practice. And I don't think you can do it alone, or at least you can't do it alone as well as you can with support and with help. And coaches are those magnificent translators who help put it into practice and give feedback and suggest possibilities, also like scientists do, and kind of help you get there. So I think it's really important.
And is there an opportunity with coaching to be more scientific about it? And I asked this question because we looked at the research that suggests that only 8% of the delta comes from coach chemistry, but the vast majority of the delta in performance comes from a consistent proven methodology for coaching. How does that resonate with your view?
Absolutely. So it's one thing to say coaches matter and coaches play a valuable role. It's another thing to get consistency across coaching practices. That's a real challenge, right? So the chances are very good that not all coaches are quite yet up to snuff.
And that a consistent methodology applied, evidence-based, you think would be the right way to go to build a more coherent and capable coaching?
Absolutely.
Piece.
And I think that's easier said than done, but I think it is doable, right? Consistent methodology, consistently applied, with feedback, with the opportunity to help the client, but also to help yourself see how helpful you're being.
One bit of practical advice for a CEO looking to manage the culture of their organization. It's vitally important for most CEOs that I speak to, but they really don't know where they should focus their attention. What would you suggest?
I think start with the work, right? Start with the nature of the value proposition you're offering the world. Are we making automobiles? Are we providing consulting services? Are we doing telecommunications? Whatever. Let's get super clear about what we do, why it matters, why it's hard, and what's it going to take. It's you're laying the groundwork for the challenge that lies ahead, so that people will A, want to participate in it, but B, really sign up for what it's going to take, what it entails to do this well.
That's an answer that resonates incredibly strongly. But I want to ask you about something else that we're noticing, particularly in the States, where we're half US business, half UK, but it's very much coming in the UK as well, which is the politicization of businesses. I'm going to try and read into your body language here.
Yeah.
But you notice this as well.
Well, it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Yes, I notice it as well. And I was a former engineer, and I have a real allergy to waste, and a lot of this strikes me as just deeply wasteful. I mean, we have enough real problems to solve, right? And to sort of get tied up in knots about political disagreements seems foolhardy to me.
I mean, to what extent is there a risk that a very noble intention of building diverse and inclusive organizations has been hijacked a little bit by social causes? Is that a risk?
It's a very real risk. And of course, I think you and I can probably both appreciate that this is tricky territory, right? Because as soon as you say, hold on, and that's why I always want to say, again, start with the work. Like, what is it we do, and what do we need to do it well? Well, we need diverse perspectives. We need enthusiasm, we need brains, we need talent. And let's just do it and get it done. And let's make sure we are getting a representative slice of society to do this together, but keep the focus on the value we add for our customers, for our employees, for our societies.